20 acres of unparalleled serenity. This was supposed to be the Browsers' retirement refuge. A fishing hole,
with a canoe and a paddle boat for the kids.
a tree house, and seclusion. Hidden from everybody. Until now.
Yes.
And then in January, the tractors began rolling in. Power poles replaced pine trees.
Beep, beep. 6 o'clock in the morning sometimes this would start.
OG&E is building a 5-acre substation just steps away from the Browser homestead.
Less than 100 feet's not safe.
And as Browser has a long list of obvious concerns, including decreased property value and potential health risks.
Leukemia, dementia, cancer, stray electricity.
Fire and explosions are a new fear, especially after seeing this disaster at a Ponca City transformer last weekend.
And it's kind of like David and Goliath.
The Browsers have launched a crusade of biblical proportions to halt the project, taking the family concerns to state lawmakers, the Corporation Commission, and OG&E executives.
I begged, I pleaded, I went nuts. I was a crying, sniveling, unintelligible person who just wanted to go break everything.
OG&E spokesman Brian Alford was traveling today but did provide this statement. In this case, we purchased the site in 1969 in anticipation of growth in the area. Relocating at today's prices would force our customers to pay much more than is necessary. OG&E says they are trying to make the family happy. Rather than put these utility poles right in their backyard, they pushed it back about a quarter mile and gave the family $15,000 for the use of their property. They also plan to plant about 350 feet of shrubs to block the view of that substation. It is no comfort for a family who has invested everything and now can only look forward to this.
It has been a devastating year of drought for the agriculture industry throughout Middle America. There just was not enough water to keep a healthy crop alive. Farmers across the U.S. are expected to harvest 10 billion bushels of corn this year, the smallest crop in 6 years, down 13% from last year. The USDA is calling crop conditions the worst they've seen since 1988.
Butter, cheese, and caramel, that's the staple around here.
And while corn is a bigger business in the upper Midwest, it is certainly a factor here at the Popcorn Pharmacy, where they have a special way of spelling pharmacy and a special recipe for dill pickle popcorn. Yum.
You will say, that tastes just like a dill pickle. That's my business, popcorn.
Deanna Dunn buys gourmet popping corn in bulk, 50-pound bags. In the past 2 years, the price for her most essential ingredient has gone up 35% because of back-to-back droughts.
It's really nerve-wracking for me because my business depends on a good crop. I've been doing this for a long time now, and I know good popcorn from not good popcorn.
She has been popping and selling popcorn for 24 years in Oklahoma City. For the past 2 dry years, she has tried to hold steady on her price, operating at a loss sometimes.
Well, of course, you have to pass some of that cost on to the customer, and that's the one thing I hate to do because I'm also a consumer. And I don't like to go to the store and every time I go, something be higher.
She will be forced to raise the price before the end of the year. Just one more thing Oklahomans can expect to pay a little more for in a year that has been lean in more ways than one. Allie Meyer, News Channel 4 HD.
The razor-sharp wire, 14-foot chain link, and steel doors, a cage of sorts for some of Oklahoma's most dangerous felons. 1,400 men who have victimized society time and again. What'd you do?
Gosh, so many different things. I don't know if I want to say it. It wasn't just one thing.
73-year-old James Price has only served a fraction of his 650-year prison term. A convicted child molester with dementia, whose only hope to ever leave Joseph Harp Correctional Center is medical parole.
It may happen that I might get out of here.
Dominique Zales is a healthcare orderly at Joseph Harp.
A lot of these guys that are elderlies and that have certain health issues, I don't see them being a threat to society.
In the last 2 years, 158 inmates were considered for medical parole. 45 were approved, meaning they walked out of prison and right back into society. Victim rights advocate Tina Harmon.
You can be sick, you can be incapacitated, you could have a terrible disease, but you could still be a threat.
DOC officials say cost is a consideration. Caring for Oklahoma's aging prison population is expensive, with an annual budget of nearly $63 million for health care alone.
We probably have over 1,000 visits to specialty clinics or hospitals a month. There is some cost, obviously.
This is the Joseph Harp Medical Unit, established in 2007 to provide housing for Alzheimer patients, vision and hearing impaired, wheelchair bound. There are also 4 isolation cells for inmates with contagious diseases.
It's just like a little mini hospital setting, but long-term care home at the same time.
Most of these men will die here, but dozens will be released long before their sentences expire. Up for consideration this year, Gordon Denny, serving 12 years for trafficking illegal drugs, and Jackie Russell, 8 years for assault and battery with intent to kill. The DOC concluded they are too sick to serve.
The older you get, the more meds you're gonna need. You know, and I don't want people being released just because they have a high medical RX every month. Who cares if they're taking extra pills? Who cares if it costs a little bit more for their medications? Victims do not care. Victims do the time for the crime you committed.
The Department of Corrections says early medical release is not taken lightly, and public safety is paramount.
Someone that requires constant medical care is probably going to die in a fairly short period of time.
However, there are no guarantees an inmate will not reoffend after medical parole.
I don't remember any, but I couldn't say for sure that hasn't happened. You just can't always predict human behavior to 100% accuracy.
It's that uncertainty that is so alarming to crime victims,
They could still be a bad guy from their bed.
who assumed a lengthy prison term was their protection. Lance West, News Channel 4. Crime has never been much of a concern for folks in Purcell until recently.
We're very trusting. We've lived here for 10 years.
This community of 6006 has been at the center of a month-long crime spree. Businesses, homes, and cars burglarized. About $30,000 in cash and property stolen so far.
They got into our console and they took both bank bags.
Dan and Sherry Smith lead a small congregation of about 50 people here at Sanctuary Christian Center. Sherry did exactly what a lot of folks in this community do. The car was unlocked, giving thieves easy access to the church's Sunday offerings. Cash, checks, all the church records were in bags just like these. Sherry planned to deposit them the very next morning.
Well, they didn't steal from me. They stole from God and our people, our precious folks who tithe and give offerings to our church so faithfully.
Sherry is embarrassed she left the church offerings in an unlocked vehicle, but police say it is a recurring theme in this trusting town.
People think because we live in a smaller community that you don't have to lock your doors anymore, you don't have to secure your vehicles, and that's just not true.
The theft was a big hit to the Christian Center, but the church family holds no grudges.
We hope they find the Lord over it. We hope, since they did touch God's money, that maybe that God will touch them in some miraculous way.
And Sherry Smith has no doubt, despite the theft, God will always provide.
Kendrick Perkins coming to Oklahoma City.
I do want to be here in Oklahoma City. It's my first option.
Perkins for the two-handed slam. Perkins down the other end, gathers.
18,000 fans, but only one has followed Perk from day one. His wife, Vanity.
When he's in the game, I'm praying that he don't get injured. I'm praying because the refs always calling fouls on him when I feel like he ain't touch him. If he look at him, they calling a foul on him.
When his shoes hit the hardwood, number 5 wears his trademark look.
That scowl has been there since long as I've known Kendrick. When you playing basketball, he can't be on the court like smiling at the people. So, he have to have that look like, don't come in the paint because, it's not happening.
Their 2 boys seem to have inherited the scowl.
They all have that look. But they the sweetest people. I don't understand that. But they can look really mean.
Kendrick Perkins learned the facts about 2% milk.
That Perkins scowl makes for great commercials.
Because it was in a grocery store, and they had to shoot like 20 shots at like different angles.
Hours to shoot it, hours he had to scowl.
Like, all right, Perk, let me get the look that you have on the court. And I'm like, man, that's kind of hard because I'm not like that all day long.
The the scowl only his game face.
It's all business when I get on the court, but outside of basketball, I'm just, some of my teammates call me a teddy bear, but I wouldn't go that far. But I'm a cool guy.
This night, another shoot.
All right, you look great.
Everybody ready?
I say you better perk up your Christmas.
Vanity and Perk are together whenever possible. Family time so precious when fame brings fans.
It's to the point to where Kendrick do not want to go places, or if we go somewhere, we have to leave early because it's beginning to be an autograph signing and picture sessions.
Often people want more than his autograph or picture. They want money.
It's so stressful because you have so many people that come at you. Like in a day, Kendrick may have 10 different people asking for $2,000 here, $3,000 there. It's never in the hundreds.
Home is their sanctuary.
I like this type of look. I love the roses. I love big. So like huge vases and just something like that stands out and looks very grand.
Vanity decorated the custom home and it may become her career.
Kendrick gets on me. He wants me to pursue my decorating. Yeah, I love to decorate homes.
Well, you got a big table here. How often do you fill it and have company?
I actually don't let anyone sit in here.
This room, however, does get used, particularly after a Thunder loss.
If we lose, we gotta sit here and watch ESPN all night, and we can't eat. We can't go out to eat that night.
Kendrick's size 17 shoes dictated another change in house plans.
We have to have another closet built for Kendrick because his shoes is taking over. You would think mine is, but his is.
Vanity's decorating sometimes falls victim to 1-year-old Kingston, already 32 pounds off the growth charts.
Just recently, he just started walking on his own.
Kingston's trail of destruction from the night before, shattered picture frames and vases.
He break everything.
Kendrick's career jettisoned this young couple into the elite world of sports millionaires. Vanity says the Thunder recently brought in the team for a quick course on money management, a wake-up call to change spending habits.
Kendrick wouldn't wear his polo undershirts twice. Like, he'll wear them once and throw them out. Now he's like, he's not gonna do that. He's gonna wear his shirts after I wash them.
Vanity sometimes longs for the simplicity of their small-town Texas upbringing.
And I always make a joke and say, oh, I just want to be regular again. And he'd be like, I don't know what's your regular, but I don't want to be back regular.
Kendrick has more years playing in the NBA than any Thunder player. His Celtics championship ring a reminder of what he wants this team to achieve. It's been a journey neither he nor Vanity ever imagined.
I knew he was talented because he always played basketball, but never did I think he'll be in the NBA right now.
Dr. Lori Hansen.
Come here. Okay.
Her life far less complicated now than it was a decade ago.
I've had the opportunity to kind of start my life again.
She's doing her racetrack thing. Come here, come here, come here.
10 years ago, she was the focus of attention, but not by choice. The wife of former Oklahoma County DA Wes Lane, she found herself in the middle of a media frenzy. She had self-reported her addiction to hydrocodone, prescribed for a back problem.
I escalated the pain medicine in an attempt to control it. You've seen the clips where somebody's walking out of a door and there's people with microphones crammed in their face, and and I just never thought I would be in that situation or have a TV van with the big satellite parked in my office parking lot waiting for me to come out.
And joining us this morning are Jan Howard and her plastic surgeon, Dr. Lori Hansen.
Lori Hansen was accustomed to cameras. She appeared on network television as a medical correspondent, received honors for her program to rebuild the faces of battered women free of charge. Her announcement that she was dependent on painkillers was surprising, but it was just the beginning. Medical hearings in which her license was suspended.
Stout eye, warmly eye.
Oh, yeah.
I felt real abandoned. It was like, where is everybody?
Felony charges for writing prescriptions for herself.
I know that other doctors that were in my same shoes, maybe not even as publicly humiliated, have committed suicide.
What got you through this?
It was almost as though during some of those really awful times, I felt like I floated on people's prayers.
In moments of despair, strength from 12 simple words.
Romans 8:28, all things work together for good to them that love the Lord. And I kept holding on to that because, I'm thinking, how could this possibly work together for my good?
There were moments when she faltered, unsure she could continue.
During that period, I went to the bank and checked out several $1,000s because I thought I was going to have to run away.
But instead, she always returned to her faith, believing her suffering had a purpose.
I think that was the wisdom and why the Lord didn't take the drug addiction away when he took the back pain away, because he wanted me to go through the fire. And I needed that. Okay, have a seat for me.
Dr. Hansen has returned to practice. Her painful experience now proving to be a gift.
It was so public that I hated that at first, but now I think it actually was a blessing. Oops, I poked you, I'm sorry. You're fine. All of my patients know that I've had struggles, and if they're having a problem, they open up so much more easily now to me than they ever did before.
She's found a purpose in her struggle.
There's a reason we go through these things, and it's not just to sit, and keep it to yourself. It's so that we can help other folks.